સંધાન. ઓલ ગુજરાત ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ ક્લાસરૂમ.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Hello students. Today we shall be talking about the topic interpolation. Myself Rekha Nair and my colleague Professor Archana Nair shall be taking this topic. To begin with, let us see what is interpolation. The basic question that comes to the mind of any student when we start with these methods is, what is the basic method all about? Since we are talking about interpolation, our basic idea would be to find out what is interpolation. In simple terms, we can say that finding the value of y corresponding to a given value of x is termed as interpolation. That is, let us consider two variables x and y. Because we said that we are supposed to find out that value of y for any given value of x. So what are x and y? They are variables where x is an independent variable while y is a dependent variable. You might already know that what we understand by an independent variable. It's a variable that do not depend, the value of the variable which does not depend on any other factors. Whereas y being a dependent variable, its value depends on the value of x. Let us assume that x and y are related by a function f of x, that is, y is equal to fx. Let this fx be a function which takes values y1, y2, y3, so on and so forth, yn, for the values of the independent variable x1, x2, x3, so on and so forth till xn respectively. That is, if we have a value x1 for the independent variable x, then y takes the form y1. Similarly, x2, y takes the form y2. For x3, y takes the form y3. And for the point xn, y takes the point yn. Let us have a look at this in a tabular form. X are independent variable and we said y is a dependent variable that is related through a function f of x. Now when we tabulate these values, as we said earlier, for the values of the independent variable x, that is x1, we will have a corresponding value y1, which is obtained by substituting the value of x1 into the function f of x. Similarly, for the data point x2, we get y2 by substituting x2 into the function f of x. Similarly, for x3, substitute the value in f of x and we shall obtain y3. So on and so forth. For xn, substitute the value in f of x and we shall get the point yn. Now what we observe here is a tabular representation of all the points. These points are called data points. We see here that we have got n data points. The function fx is said to pass through all these n data points. What we are supposed to do now is, we are supposed to find out one function such that passes through all these data points, and that function is called fx. If fx is known explicitly, that is, if we know the form of fx as a function of x, then for any untabulated value of x that lies between x1 and xn, the corresponding value of y can be computed. That is, by simply substituting the value of x into the known function. And on further simplification, we get the value for the untabulated, the corresponding value for the untabulated value x. Now, why do we emphasize that x should lie between x1 and xn? The basic reason being that this process is called interpolation, and hence we should have the untabulated value within the range of the tabulated values, not outside them, and hence it should be encompassed within x1 and xn. Now suppose fx is not known explicitly. Then we need to find a simple function phi x such that it approximately agrees with the function fx. When we say it approximately agrees, what do we understand? We mentioned earlier that fx passes through all the tabulated set of n data points. Since we do not know fx, we are now trying to find out phi x. This phi x may not pass through all the data points, but since we are approximating it so that it agrees with f of x, it passes through almost all the n data points. And this process of finding the phi x that approximately agrees with the unknown function fx is called interpolation. And that is basically what we are going to talk about today. Let us understand this in a better fashion through a graphical representation. We have got the x-axis, which shall represent the values of x, and the y-axis that represent the values of y's, which is a function of fx. Let us consider the n data points that we were talking about. When we plot these data points on the graph, we can see that they are scattered. We have got n data points, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, so on, xn, yn. If fx is known explicitly, we shall see that fx passes through all the n data points. Now this fx is known, and hence when we find out its behavior, we find that it passes through all the n points. But what if fx is not known explicitly? We said we shall be finding a simple function phi x such that it approximately agrees with f of x. And this phi x may not pass through all the points, but as we see here, it may pass through a few or almost all the points. This process of finding phi x is termed as interpolation. Now, if this approximating function phi x is found out, and we find that this phi x takes on several forms like logarithmic functions, polynomial functions, exponential functions, trigonometrical functions, then depending upon its nature, the interpolation would be nomenclatured likewise. Since the approximating polynomial function phi x is assumed to be a polynomial, we shall call that particular process polynomial interpolation.
Now let's discuss what are finite differences. As differences means subtracting a number from another number, that is the difference between two numbers. So finite differences means either the differences of the values of the function or the differences of the past differences. Now what are the differences of the function values? As we shall see later, it is y2, the corresponding values of y. The corresponding values of y, that is y2 minus y1 and so on. Now differences are of four types. The first is forward, second is backward, then divided and central. Now the basic question might be when to use which differences. So generally this forward, backward, divided or central differences are used depending upon the x values, whether they are equispaced, whether they are not equispaced, and particularly on the value of x at which we want to interpolate. whether it lies in the beginning or at the end. So these are the basic factors, and we shall discuss in detail all these things. So now let us go first to forward differences. Let us understand what are forward differences. Now for forward differences, we are having the first order forward differences, second order, third order, fourth order, and so on. So begin let's with first order forward differences. Now what are those first order forward differences? Now given a tabular set of points x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, and xn yn, as usually corresponding to x1 you are having the value y1, corresponding to x2 it is y2, and so on corresponding to xn it is yn. These data are tabular data points, and these values, using these values, subtracting the y values, we shall obtain the first order forward differences. Now as you can see from the table itself, y2 minus y1, that is subtracting the second value and the first value. Next y3 minus y2, you can easily visualize from the table. Then next will be y4 minus y3, so on and so forth. It will be yn minus yn minus 1. So you can just see it is just a subtraction of the corresponding values of the function, y values. So these numbers which we have obtained, that is y2 minus y1, y3 minus y2, y4 minus y3, and so on, they are called first order forward differences, and these forward differences are denoted by the symbol delta. Delta is called forward difference operator. So we can represent whatever I said in the mathematical form or in a form of an equation, that is the first order forward difference at the first point y1 is given by delta y1, which is y2 minus y1. The first order forward difference at the second point y2 is given by delta y2, which is y3 minus y2. The first order forward difference at the third point y3 is given by y4 minus y3, so on and so forth. The first order forward difference at n minus 1th point is given by delta yn minus 1, which is yn minus yn minus 1. So now you can see we are having a tabular values of n points, that is y1, y2 up to yn. N points are there. So the first order forward differences will be evaluated only for the first n minus 1 values. That's why we have delta y1, delta y2, delta y3, and up to delta yn minus 1. Now we can represent the same in the tabular form. So let us have a look at the tabular form. Given the table values xy, that is x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, and x4 y4. Here we are considering a table which consists of only 4 data points. Later on we can generalize it. Now let us evaluate the first order forward differences, which are denoted by delta y. Now the first order forward difference at the first point is delta y1. Now let us see how to evaluate it. We have already represented it in the equation form. Now as on the table, it will be y2 minus y1. Now the first order forward difference at the second point y2 will be delta y2, which will be y3 minus y2. The first order forward difference at the third point will be delta y3, which is equal to, it is y4 minus y3. Now we can easily see from this table, okay, since we are having 4 data points, we will be evaluating the first order forward differences only for the first 3 points. Now
Second order forward differences. Second order forward differences can be computed by finding the difference of the first order forward difference. We have just studied the first order forward differences and how to find its computation. The differences of these first order forward differences are called second order forward differences. That is delta y2 minus delta y1, delta y3 minus delta y2, delta y4 minus delta y3, So on and so forth, delta yn minus 1 minus delta yn minus 2. As you can notice here, delta y1, delta y2, delta y3, delta y4, delta yn minus 1 and delta yn minus 2 are all first order forward differences. Thus, the difference of the first order forward differences shall give us the second order forward differences. And these second order forward differences are denoted by delta square. Let us represent this in the mathematical form. So delta square y1, that is the second order forward difference at the first tabulated point x1 y1, is given by delta y2 minus delta y1. Similarly, delta square y2 is given by delta y3 minus delta y2. Delta square y3 is equal to delta y4 minus delta y3, so on and so forth. Delta square yn minus 2 is given by delta yn minus 1 minus delta yn minus 2. Let us have a look at these second order differences in the tabular form. We know that we have been given the values of x and y, x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3 and x4 y4. And we just computed the first order forward differences delta y and obtained delta y1, delta y2 and delta y3. We shall now obtain delta square y. We already mentioned that delta square y is the difference of the first order differences. So delta square y1, that is the second order forward difference at the first data point x1 y1 in the table, shall be obtained by delta y2 minus delta y1. Similarly, delta 2y2 shall be obtained by delta y3 minus delta y2.